All right, so quiz number 7 review. We're going to go ahead and get started with this. There are a couple different things that you guys need to do for this quiz coming up. A little bit of graphing, okay, and then there's some plugging in, okay, and that's basically it. There's graphing and plugging stuff in. But we put that into 3 different sections, okay? So we're going to start off with the graphing of these equations. Now, I'll let you guys kind of write this stuff out already if you want to do it, but I am going to write a couple little things on the side, okay? So, kind of like some scratch work in a sense. I want to just remind you guys about the main formula, okay? So, this is great. Give me a second. All right, so my apologies. Had to start that up again. Y equal to a absolute value of x minus h plus k. Remember, a is your slope, and it tells you whether it opens up or down, right? Positive a opens up, negative a opens down, okay? But a tells you your slope, rise over run, maybe fall over run. H tells you whether you should move left or right. If it looks like a negative h, then you're moving to the right. If it looks like a positive h, you're going to the left. Your h value, remember what I tell you, it always lies. So if you see like x minus 2, it really is a positive 2. If you see x plus 5, it's really a minus 5, right? So h lies. And then k always tells the truth. If it's positive k, it goes up, negative k, it goes down, okay? But that's the formula we're using. So for these problems, whenever I ask you guys to graph them, I think I told you guys, you don't have to do this, but I recommend it. Okay, this is what I would recommend you do. All right, because that's going to basically give you like the format of what do I need to know. Okay, so what's my A term for number 1? Negative what? 1. Not 0, but 1. If it's 0, everything clears out. But if it's multiplying in front, it's going to be a negative 1. Remember, it is a slope, so it's really negative 1 over 1, right? Now, my H value, what is it? Positive 2. Thank you. I know it says minus 2, but remember, H lies, so change it, right? Positive 2. What about K? Is 1. So your HK goes here, 2, 1. And that tells you where you're going to start. Okay? So I'm going to go to the point 2, comma 1, which is right here. All right? I put a dot, and then I get to apply my slope. My slope is negative 1 over 1. So from that point, I'm going to go 1 down, 1 over in both directions. 1 down, 1 over. And then just connect the dots, and I'm done. Okay, these problems are supposed to be fast. Okay, they shouldn't take very long. All you need to know is your AHK. All right, and then give me the vertex, the H comma K. Once you have that, the drawing is pretty quick.
What did you say about H?
It lies. So like, see how it says x minus 2 right here? So H is actually positive. Yeah. The K is exactly what it looks like. The plus 1. If it's a plus 1, it's a plus 1. But that number inside of the absolute value, if it's a minus, it's really a plus. If it's a plus, it's really a minus. So yeah, it's always kind of like being deceitful. So let's do one more of these, and we'll move on. I'll give you a couple seconds to write this down. Let me pause it, and then we'll get started on it again. So for number 2, y equal to the absolute value of x minus 3. I did this on purpose, the problem I gave you, because there's a couple things that you don't see that are there, right? So we're going to still do the same thing. I'm just going to write my AHK and then my HK as a point, right? Because I need to know where to start this graph. So what's my A term? A 1, right? Which means my slope is 1 over 1. Okay, I'm just going to write that out right now, because it's 1 up, 1 over. H is what? That's a 0, right? Not a 1 because it's not multiplying. It's plus or minus nothing, so it's a 0. And what's my K value? Minus 3. So 0, negative 3 goes right here at your vertex. I'm going to go to 0, negative 3 on my graph, which would be right on the y-axis. Okay, right there. And then I get to apply the slope, which is 1 up, 1 over. So 1 up, 1 over, and do it in the other direction as well. 1 up, 1 over to the left. Connect the dots, and we're done. Okay. Again, you guys have 4 problems like this on your quiz tomorrow. It honestly, if you understand how to do it and you know what to look for, it shouldn't take you more than 2 minutes to do all four. Okay, it's pretty quick. Okay, pretty quick if you know what you're looking for. But focus on AHK. Okay, that's the main thing you're looking for. All right, aside from that, there are these two problems. So I'm going to pause it right now so you guys can write them both down. If you want to try doing them, go ahead. But I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to try to write this stuff down really quick. Then we'll go over it, okay? I'll unpause it in a bit. All right, so for questions 3 and 4, they want me to write the equation y equal to a times the absolute value of x minus h plus k. So let me write that down here. Y equal to a absolute value of x minus h plus k. All I have to do is fill that in, okay? So my a term, well, that's obvious. It's 3/4, right? And it opens down. So, all right, opens up. So it's going to be a positive value, so that makes sense. Y equals 3/4. X minus, all right, H is left and right motion, okay? It says 2 to the right, so should I write +2 or -2? -2, because normally right is positive, but no, not with H. H is always lying to you, so it's -2, okay? And then my units up is, units down is 1, so I'm going to put -1, right? And that's it. I'm done. You guys have 2 questions like this on your quiz. I don't expect it taking you that long to do, maybe a minute for both, okay? Well, let's do the next one. It opens down, it shifts 3 units to the left, 6 units up, and a is -2. So I'm going to rewrite the equation just, I don't know, I'm trying to see if I can get you guys into the habit of doing the same thing I do, okay? It's beneficial to write these formulas down, because then you don't really have to memorize them. Your body already kind of knows what to do, right? So here we go. Oops, I went too low here. A is -2. It says it opens down. A is negative. That makes sense. So y is equal to -2. All right. X. Now, my graph is going 3 times to the left. So is that -3 or +3? +3, right? So +3. K is going 6 units up, so I write +6. Okay, and that's it. We're good. It literally takes you longer to write the problem than do it, okay? So that's always nice when that happens, because you know that they're not too difficult. Again, review your notes, right? All those definitions at the very beginning. So we have, I think I have 4 more problems. Let me double check. 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. So all of the same type. Now the first 2 are pretty easy. But I'm noticing some people are having a really hard time plugging in numbers, which is kind of surprising because by this time, this should not be a struggle anymore, right? But I'm seeing people doing some weird stuff, so hopefully this will help you guys. For number 5, all they want us to do is just evaluate. They give me a function p of x, which is x squared minus 3. They want me to find p of 4. Remember, the 4 value is replacing the x values. Okay, so even this right there, I'm highlighting it because for those of you guys that are having trouble knowing where you put this stuff, you're replacing the x's with a 4. So it looks like this. P of 4 is equal to 4 squared minus 3. What's 4 squared? 16, and 16 minus 3? 13, and you're done. That's all you have to do. I think you have 4 of these type of problems. Okay, maybe 3, but something like that. Okay, they're not supposed to be like extremely difficult. Very straightforward. Then they give you some like this. I think there's 2. They say f of n is equal to n minus 4. Find f of 2 plus x. And I know people get scared. They're like, what the heck does that mean? Remember, guys, all it means is whatever's in here, the 2 plus x, replaces the letters. That's all you're doing. I don't care what I put in the f of. If I write f of happy face, if I do this, then your problem better look like this. Because that's correct. Whatever I put inside the function gets applied into the problem, okay? So we'll remove that because that's not going to come out on tomorrow's quiz. I'm just saying it doesn't matter what I put there, okay? So 2 plus x is going to replace the n value. So here we go. F of 2 plus x, that's supposed to be f of n, right? But that's f of 2 plus x, is 2 plus x minus 4. Right? I just replaced the n's with the 2 plus x. So all I have to do is simplify. I have a 2 minus 4. 2 minus 4 is negative 2 plus x. And you can leave your answer like that, or if you want to write x minus 2, that's perfectly fine. Whatever you want. Okay, I'm a little bit on the OCD side, so I would definitely make it x minus 2 because it just looks nicer to me to have a positive side instead of a negative sign in the front. But it doesn't matter. They're identical. Addition is commutative. It doesn't matter if you flip it or not. Okay, so it's fine. Are we okay with those two? So there's going to be some like this. There's going to be some like the ones before. And then I'm only doing 2 of these. The ones that we did yesterday, I'm only doing the multiplication and the subtraction because most people don't mess up on the addition. They just add. But the multiplication and the subtraction messes people up sometimes. So I want to go on the ones that kind of mess some people up every once in a while. I'll do this in 2 different ways because someone asked me yesterday, can you show me what it looks like in the box method? I've never seen the box method. So I showed them the box method. So for some people, it's really easy. For me, it's way more complicated. It reminds me of Punnett squares. You guys know what Punnett squares are? Right? And I hated science. So doing the box method reminds me of things I didn't like doing, which was, what was that, biology, right? So for me, that wasn't a good memory, so I don't like it. But for me also, when I was your age, they didn't have all these cool ways of doing stuff. They just said do it, right? So I had to learn it by method of guess and check. So that's why for me, distribution makes so much more sense. It's faster because I do it in my head. But I'll show you both ways. That way you can see. All right? So finding f times g of x. Okay, remember, f times g of x by definition is the same as writing f of x times g of x. Okay, we're multiplying them. Okay, so I'm just going to write f of x really quick. That's x cubed minus 1 times g of x, which is 2x plus 1. Again, I'm going to do this using distribution first. Then I'll show you how to do it using the box method, and then we'll move on. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do the green parts first, then the blue parts second when you go with distribution. Okay, so x cubed times 2x, that is 2x to the 4th, right? A lot of people are forgetting that too. I'm seeing that in a lot of work. Some people are even forgetting to write the x. They just write 2. And I'm like, what happened to the letters, right? Then they'll put, 2x. And I'm like, where are the rest of them, right? There's 4 of them there, right? X cubed and x, that's 4 of them. So x to the 4th. The next green line, x cubed times 1, well, that's a positive x cubed. And then we're going to go to the blue lines. Negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. And negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. Can I combine any of this together?
No.
No, they're not like terms. Yes, they all have x's, but they don't all have the same power on those x's. So this is it. This is your solution. Okay, and we're done. Now, I'm going to use the color green over here for scratch work. Okay, this is what the box method is going to look like. And if you like it, use it. I like it. The thing is, I didn't learn that way, so for me, it's like relearning something I already know, so why am I going to do it? So I don't learn it, or I don't do it that way in my head. But let me show you how it works. So we have to do f of x times g of x. So f of x, I'm going to write on the top of those boxes. F of x is x cubed plus 1. Okay? G of x, I'm going to do it vertically on the left side. That's 2x plus 1. So 2x plus 1. Oh, is it minus? Oh, minus 1. Sorry. Thank you. Minus 1. Thank you very much. So now we're just going to basically multiply, right? We're going to multiply x cubed times 2x. That's going to be 2x to the 4th. Okay? And then I'm going to multiply negative 1 times 2x. That's negative 2x. Then you multiply x cubed times 1. That's a positive x cubed. And then multiply -1 times +1, that's -1. Now normally, just so you guys know, but this didn't happen here. Normally, these two are like terms, right? Usually those are supposed to be combined together and put so that they fit into 3 terms. But in this case, they're not like terms. So you just leave them, okay? But I'm just going to leave it like that. So all you have to do now is just write everything in the boxes, okay? So when you write everything in the boxes, you're going to write 2x to the 4th minus 2x plus x cubed minus 1. It'll be the same thing that I wrote, and that's your answer. You're just going to write everything out, okay? So that's the box method. That's what it looks like. I'm not sure if you've always done that. I know that they're teaching a lot more in elementary schools now, and middle schools, I mean, not elementary schools. But I'm seeing it a lot more from people. So that's good. I mean, they're teaching you new strategies, so that works. Here's the last one. Okay, remember I told you I wanted to do, still got 10 minutes, so we're good. I wanted to do a subtraction one because I noticed more people mess up on subtracting than they do on addition. Because on addition, you don't have to distribute anything. A plus doesn't change any signs. Minuses change signs. So that's why I want to do one of these. So we have h of n, which is n plus 4, and g of n, which is n squared plus 1. We have to find g minus h of n. So we're going to subtract the function g minus the function h. Now if you follow definition, g minus h of n is g of h. I'm sorry, not g of h. G of n minus h of n. Okay? Now at this point, I'm going to grab my functions, okay? G of n is n squared plus 1, so I'm going to write n squared plus 1 minus h of n is n plus 4. All right? Now I'm going to tell you one mistake I'm seeing a lot of people do. When they do this step, yes, they're distributing, they're forgetting the minus sign, and they see two things being multiplied, and then all of a sudden they're distributing like crazy, right? And they're like, this is getting difficult. But I'm like, no, you're supposed to subtract, right? Don't forget your symbols. If it's plus, put a plus in the middle. If it's minus, put a minus, right? If it's times, then you don't have to. You could put a little time symbol, but you don't have to for multiplication because the parentheses themselves mean multiply. So we're going to distribute this negative, okay? So this is going to be n squared plus 1 minus n minus 4. And then just combine your like terms, which would just be the numbers. 1 minus 4 is -3. So n squared minus n minus 3, and you're done. Okay? And this is what your quiz is going to be like, all these types of problems.